Hello everybody, my name is Pat Sipes with Visual Images, and I'm excited to come to you today because I am a longtime Edius user and a longtime Digital Juice user, and these two things go together like hand in glove. Today I'm going to be giving you a tutorial on one of the exciting new series that Digital Juice has called Drag and Drop. This is a series of effects that come straight into your editor, in this case Grass Valley Edius. Simply as a clip, and we drag those over top of other clips to apply effects to them. No rendering, no extra work. All we do is apply it as a blend type filter, and you can come up with all kinds of cool looks. Most of us could probably recreate these looks in some other compositing software, but you're normally talking about hours worth of work. The great thing about Digital Juice is they've done all of that for you, and in a matter of seconds you're going to be able to bring these clips in, apply it to your base clip, and have the look or feeling that you were hoping to achieve. There are 8 categories for the drag and drop effects, and you can buy those individually, or you can buy the entire set, which I highly recommend because there's an unbelievably inexpensive price if you buy it complete. Before I go ahead and get into the specifics of this tutorial on the drag and drop series of effects, I want to talk to you about Digital Juice Juicer for just a moment. Because this may be the first time that some Edius users are being introduced to some of the Digital Juice products, I feel like the juicer is one of the most underused thing that Digital Juice has. Basically, the juicer is a free medium management and conversion utility that will support any of the Digital Juice products. I generally use this as something of a preview monitor, but you'll see one of the great things about it is that if you are going to ahead and render something, you can go ahead and convert it into the Grass Valley HQX file, which is what we generally like to use if we have a choice in Edius. Now, first of all, you'll see that I opened up Juicer here. And if you look over on the left-hand side, you're going to see that we have a column that indicates all of the Digital Juice products that we have installed. Now, as you go ahead and click on a certain area, you see that you can break that down into subcategories. And in each of those categories, as you click on it, whatever clip is associated, you will see a preview that pops up in the monitor area there. Now, if I go ahead and want to preview this clip, I actually just go and left click on the clip, and you'll see that it appears up on the top and plays through the area. Any other choice you want to choose, just go down, left click on it. That's all you have to do. Pops up. You can stop and change it at any time that you like. Now, I'm going to go ahead and choose this clip right here. And I'm going to drag it over into my right panel, which is going to be my batch panel. And the reason I'm dropping it here is that I can render these clips out into any format that I like. Now you see that I've already got some that I've pre-dropped in here, some other clips that I wanted to bring in and go ahead and use. But at the top area you're going to see where it says Settings. If I click on that and you look over on the left-hand side, you see I have several different columns: Speed, Effects, Canvas, and the one I'm concerned with right now is going to be Canvas. If you look down at the specifics inside there, I can pull up some presets that are already designed, or I can go ahead and custom make this. Now, since I normally work in 1920 1080, I'm going to go ahead and select that with the 2997. If I was working in a different project preset, I could pick any of these that I prefer. And you'll go down here and you'll look through some of the other areas that are pretty self-explanatory. The juicer gives you complete customization where you can change any of these if you like. Now, the main area I want you to look at here is going to be the output area. And you see that I can drop down and there's presets, or I can choose the codecs that I want to use. In this case, I want to go ahead and use the Grass Valley HQX. That is going to be an AVI file that's a proprietary codec for Grass Valley that if we have a choice, we generally like to work in. Although we could work in any of the native file formats that tend to pop up. So as you see right here, there are different categories that apply to this. Going to go ahead and stay with the upper field, the AVI, and the location. You see that it has a default location, but if I want to go ahead and choose a different place, now for me, I'm going to save that on my M drive. That's the media drive, and I'll go ahead and create a new folder. Let's go ahead and call this Digital Juice Clips, and that's where I'm going to save this rendered out clip. Now, if you'll notice just to the right of this area, this location area, you're going to see a side arrow that says Save Location. I can click on that, and I have a couple of options that will pop up. I can apply this location just to the current batch items, or I can choose this location as default for all video tracks HD or the same type of file. Today I'm going to go ahead and choose this top option, apply it just to these batch items. And once I do that, every single clip that I'm going to end up rendering will save to that location. I don't have to individually change them. Now over on the right hand side here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to right click on the top clip up here. You're going to see that I'm going to have several options that are going to pop up. Several different things here. You could read these, are pretty self-explanatory. The one I'm going to be concerned with is copy attributes. Now because I set my Grass Valley HQX as my render codec coming out here, I want to apply that to all of these clips. So what I will do is come down to each one of these clips, right click on it, and then I will go ahead and paste the attributes. And you'll notice that as I paste that, if I look over here in the canvas area, I've got that same HQ codec showing. You'll notice on this next one, if I go ahead and click on the clip, before I paste it, you'll see that it's a default of a QuickTime movie. But once I go ahead and paste the attributes, that's going to change to that HQX codec. Once I have the codec applied that I want, or the attributes that I want, I can go down and choose render all or render selected. In this case, I'm just going to do render selected, the top clip. And once I do that, you see that it's going to pop up and it's going to tell me to insert the particular disk that I need to have to render that clip off of. Once I pop that in and hit OK, it goes ahead and starts the render. And if you look over here to the right as it's rendering, if you have multiple files there, the juicer is telling you what disk those files are located on. So you can go ahead and grab those disks and have them ready to go as soon as the render of the one item is done. Now generally, if you go ahead and render all of them, you can go ahead and have those disks ready. And if you're like my system, I have 2 burners, so I can go ahead and pop in the next one that's going to show up, and it just does a continual render of all the items. Okay, let's get to the main part of this tutorial, and that's our work with the drag and drop. Now, first of all, I'm going to go ahead and open Juicer 3 again just to show you that it can be brought in through here. However, I'm going to recommend that you don't do this. If you look on the left-hand side, I'm going to come down to drag and drop, and you can pick any of the columns that are there, and you'll see that whatever is in there will show up. You can simply click on it, and you can preview what's going to be happening on that clip. Now again, I recommend that you don't use this. You could go ahead and render things out, but then that kind of defeats the whole purpose of drag and drop, and there's no need for it. Now, as everybody that uses Edius knows that there are several ways to get clips into the bin. The fastest way is simply to come on the right hand side and double left click, and you see it will open your Windows navigation box. Now I'm going to navigate to my Y drive, Digital Juice, drag and drop, and there are the 8 different folders that I've got. Now notice that if you click on any of the clips inside, there's a small preview window in the bottom left hand corner, and I can preview what that look is going to be. So a quick way to go ahead and check out and make sure that's the clip that you want to bring in. Once I choose that, notice in the middle of the box there's a transfer to project folder. By default, Edius will just use a reference system and point to the original thing. If you ever needed to copy it, which there's no need to here, I would check that box transfer to project folder. Now another way that I can bring in clips is if I go ahead and right click on root and select open folder, and what happens then is I will navigate to the Digital Juice, drag and drop again, and let's say I want to go ahead and bring in all the clips in the bokeh setup there. I go ahead and choose that folder and hit OK, and notice that the entire folder is brought in as a subfolder under root, and when I click on that, all of the files that are in that folder will show up as an option. So anytime you need to bring in everything that's in a folder, this is probably the quickest way to do it, and a nice, quick, clean, organized way to keep things separated in the bin. Now once you have them in there, you can double click on any clip that loads it into your left player monitor. You can go over there and play it and make sure that's what you want. You can also do a drag and drop there if you prefer to do that. Now I'm going to go ahead and right click and do open folder again, and I'm going to go ahead under that Digital Juice, drag and drop, and I'm going to bring in light leaks. There are a lot of cool effects in light leaks that I like to use. Now I have copied these off of the CDs onto the hard drive, obviously, because there's a lot of things that I use here all the time. So once they're copied straight off the DVD, and I just did this straight through Windows Explorer, then I have them available just as a normal clip. So again, here you can see that I'm just looking at a couple of clips and making sure that's what I want to end up using. I'm going to go ahead up in Root, and I'm double click right there, and I'm going to bring in some video clips that I saved previously when I was explaining about the juicer, some of the things from the Digital Juice HD video clips right here. So I select a range of them, go ahead and hit OK, and again they're just a reference and they point to the original file location. Now I went ahead and shows this picture of this girl in this field of flowers, kind of a beautiful shot, just naturally there, but kind of looking at it, it's like, you know what, maybe I want to add a few different things to that, maybe a little bit of a different kind of look. So I'm going to grab that clip and I'm just going to drag it down to track 1V right there in the video. No audio with it since there's no audio associated with that clip. And there it is playing in the right hand monitor, or my recorder monitor. I usually refer to that as the timeline monitor. I hate for this tutorial to be kind of short, but I have to tell you this is about as simple as it gets, and that's one of the reasons I love the drag and drop setup. But I can go to any of those folders that I brought in and go choose whatever effect I want to put on this one. So I can play it up in my left monitor, or I can simply grab it and drag and drop it to the clip. And so once you see it in there, you see it, you put it on a higher track, a top track, and you play through there and we see just the clip, so nothing underneath that. So all I need to do is go to my Effect tab, and all the way at the bottom under the Keyers track, there is a blend filter. You can choose a lot of these options. Most of the time we're going to be choosing Addition, but you see that I grab Addition and I drag and drop it to the white or gray area right below the clip. This is called the Keyer track. And you see as I just simply drag and drop that on there, that boom, now I can sit there and see whatever the clip is underneath it, plus applied with any light, any effect that I want to put on this. I can expand the clip and turn on the mix button, which allows me to control the opacity of that drag and drop clip that I just dropped down. And I'm holding Shift and clicking on that blue line and dragging and dropping. So as you watch the picture, you can see how the opacity changes on what we've got right there. You can kind of see right here that simply by grabbing this from the bin, dragging and dropping it, playing with the opacity, I've taken a really nice clip to begin with and given it that little bit of extra that's going to set it apart from everything else. I'm going to go ahead and go up here and let's just choose something different just to kind of see how this works here. I can sit there and play with any of these different clips and drop them on, and they all work on the same technique. It's simply a drag and drop situation of going down to the timeline. Or if I want to preview it, I can drag it over to my left monitor and sit there and kind of preview this. Now this isn't necessarily a clip that I would use here, but I'll just go ahead and grab that just to kind of show you what it looks like. And we've got a little bit of the blue setup on this. Now again, I go to Effects, underneath Keyers, I'm going to grab Addition again. I could drag and drop it from my other clip if it already had it on there. It goes to the Keyer track, and there you see we kind of have a little bit more of the purplish blue type, almost a car headlight type look right there. Again, I probably wouldn't use that on this one, but just to kind of show the illustration of the two differences in there. And play with the opacity, just gives it a little bit of sparkle, a little bit of look to what's going on right there. Let's just go ahead and try something different there. So I'll delete that Addition that I dropped in, and you can go up and you can grab any of these. If you want to understand blend modes a little bit better, let me suggest to you that go to your computer and Google Photoshop blend modes by Robert Thomas. He has a terrific piece on kind of explaining all the different things and what's complementary and what's not there. So highly suggest you do that, and it will totally increase your knowledge of blend modes. And you can see that I sit here and drop it on and play with this, and a little bit different look, kind of dropped it down. Let's say I want to do something a little bit crazy with this, just kind of showing some of the things you can do it. But I'm going to open up Layouter for that clip, and the keyboard shortcut for that is F7. Now I'm just going to go ahead and grab the corner and scale this larger. And right now, just so I can see this a little bit better, I'll click on my zoom tool, scale this out so it's a lot larger there. So you can see how my circles got much larger than they were. And now I'm just going to adjust the position of where this is, and once I go ahead and like what I've got there, I can go back there and play it. And again, one of the cool things here on Layouter is you don't have to close it to apply it. We just drop the effect, change it, change the size, change the location, change the scale, and sit there and play it with no rendering whatsoever. So this is the great power and the great combination of using both Edius with its real-time abilities and the Digital Juice products that just make our life so much easier and save so much time on this. One of the great things about this, in the next tutorial we're going to be talking about Matte Magic, another series of product from Digital Juice, and we can end up using a combination of the two, both the drag and drop and the Matte Magic, and come up with even better, even cooler looks than what we've got going on right here. So until next time, this is Pat Sipes with Visual Images. Keep on editing.